How do you use a walker correctly? That's the question we'll be answering today on this episode of Simple Steps Mobility. Today's video is going to be how to use a front wheel walker correctly. Now, basically, when you're getting ready to use a front wheel walker, you want to make sure that the height is adjusted correctly. When you are adjusting the height, basically what you do on most walkers, you have a little pin here that allows you to adjust the height of the back legs, and also you'll have a pin that allows you to adjust the height of the front legs. When you're adjusting the height, you want to make sure that the walker is even and it doesn't rock. When you're adjusting the height, you want the height to be able to, the handle to be able to hit the person right at the bend of the wrist when they're standing up straight. They need to be standing up as straight as they can. Now, they may not be standing at attention. This may be as straight as some people stand. Basically, you still want the handle to be at the bend of the wrist as when they're standing as straight as they can. That will give them the proper amount of leverage when they're using the walker. If the walker is too low, you have to bend forward. If the walker is too high, you won't be able to extend your arms to get good leverage, and you'll basically make your arms very tired and make your shoulders tired also. In order to use the walker, basically it's a matter of advancing the walker ahead of you like a shopping cart. I usually tell my patients to push the walker ahead of them like a shopping cart. You want to have it far enough ahead of you so that you're not crowding the walker like so. When you're walking too close to the crossbar, you tend to bend forward. That's bad posture, but it also throws people off balance. When you're walking too far forward, your hands basically are behind your hip bones, and you end up sort of leaning backwards when you're trying to stand up straight. Likewise, or on the other hand, you don't want the walker too far out in front of you where you have to reach for it or bend forward. And this is if a person has something like Parkinson's or they have a shuffling gait, if the walker gets too far ahead of them, then they could possibly fall or lose their balance and injure themselves. But you do want the walker ahead of you because you want your hands ahead of your hips. When your hands are ahead of your hips, you have better leverage, you have better way to support yourself using your hands. You can prevent yourself from falling forward. You're not necessarily falling forward, but you're in a good position to support your body weight. When you're advancing the walker, you want to basically step into the middle of the imaginary rectangle. You don't want to be behind it, nor do you want to be all the way inside of it. You basically want to step into the middle. You want your toes basically touching the middle of the walker, or the middle of the imaginary rectangle there. In addition, when you're turning a corner, you don't want to get outside of the two rear legs. You basically want to keep your body between the two rear legs when you're turning the corner. When you get outside, even if one foot gets outside, generally you're not in a good position to support yourself using the walker, and you could set yourself up for a fall or some sort of injury. So when to use the walker correctly, you want to have it adjusted at the right height. You want to have it in front of you at a good distance, so, not that you're reaching, but you don't want to be too far into the walker that you're losing your balance and not having good support from the walker. And you want to keep, when you're walking, you want to keep your feet basically between the two rear legs. You don't want to walk outside of the rear legs. Those are several tips to help you understand how to walk with a walker correctly. Now, if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and look for my other videos. I basically go through a lot of tips and tools that you could use, that you could learn how to use a walker safely, how to use a cane safely, how to use a four-wheel walker safely, and how to help you or your loved one get around your home easier and more safely.